everything. Jikook's irrefutable proof of love. The morning sun in Seoul may be shining as usual. The streets are full of people rushing. But for millions of soldiers around the world, the day begins with a different heartbeat. A video of less than 2 minutes, mysteriously uploaded by an anonymous account, suddenly made the BTS fandom world seem to stop breathing. And oh, flashy titles, just simple captions, for you who always wait in silence. And when the video was played, everything changed. I end the video. 2 figures in military uniforms are seen standing on a balcony of the headquarters. One of them is wearing a gray hoodie, while the other is in full uniform. The camera seems to be taken from a distance, as if hidden. But what looks really clear, they are Jungkook and Jimin. There is no audible dialogue, only visuals. But their body language is louder than any word. Jimin seemed to speak slowly, occasionally staring at the floor, while Jungkook stood sculpting, hands in his pockets, as if holding back emotions. Then, the 57th second, the moment that became the center of everything. Jungkook slowly stepped forward and hugged Jimin. Not a casual hug, not a warm greeting between colleagues, but hugs are long, tight, and emotionally charged. Jimin answered it. Their heads rest against each other. No movement, no smile. Only silence is loaded with meaning. The video instantly spread like wildfire. Army reaction flooded social media. It's not about who likes who, but it's about 2 hearts that still choose each other, even though the world is constantly changing. I cried not because we finally found out, but because all this time they had to endure it all alone. Many also connect this video with all previous events. Jungkook's trip to Japan, prayer boards with the words JM, meaningful lyrics posted by Jimin, to the old necklace that was put back on. The puzzle pieces are now one whole picture. Hours after the video went viral, an anonymous military officer confirmed to Korean media that it was authentic. It says, "We know their relationship is more than just groupmates. We did not interfere, but many of us watched how deeply they felt for each other. And no, it's not a drama. It's real." This statement made many people cry. During this time, Jimin and Jungkook's relationship has been the subject of endless speculation, but no one can verify for sure. Until this video appeared, accompanied by a silent confession from the inside. After the video went viral, many suspected that it was just a small snippet of a much longer and emotional moment. Some of the army began to trace the location seen in the footage. Based on the angle of the wall, the shape of the balcony, and the background of trees in the distance, many believe that the place is the back area of the military training base where Jungkook and Jimin were assigned at different times. But what was surprising was the appearance of a second video, this time a little longer in duration, about 4 minutes. The video was uploaded by the same account and is titled, "Not the First Meeting, but Perhaps the Last." In the footage, a very quiet atmosphere is seen. Jimin came first, sitting on a short concrete wall with a tired face. Not long after, Jungkook came from the opposite direction. It didn't come close. He just stood there, staring at Jimin in silence. Those moments were excruciating for anyone who watched them. Then Jimin spoke, although it was not clear what he was saying. But his body language described the doubts, burdens, and expectations that seemed to collide in his mind. And when Jungkook finally approached and stood right in front of Jimin, one sentence from his lips was captured by a small camera mic recording. "I don't know where to start, but I know I can't pretend I don't care anymore." The sentence struck like lightning in the hearts of the fans. It's not just an emotional hug, not just a look, but the confession of someone who has been keeping feelings in silence. The next day, Korean media began reporting that a member of Jimin's family, who was not named, the video made them cry. In a short interview, he said, "We know he loves Jungkook, but we also know he's too scared to hurt her. They always want to protect each other, even if it means they have to stay away from each other." Meanwhile, one of Jungkook's cousins, who appeared in an old vlog, made a comment through his personal account before it was deleted. He, Jungkook, is not an easy person to talk to. But when she hugs someone like that, it's not an ordinary hug. It was a form of apology, gratitude, and love, all in one. Now, the army no longer views Jikook as just a fan service theory or just an ordinary idol interaction. Many are beginning to realize that behind all the laughter, the stage, and the hectic schedule, there are two young people who for years have struggled to balance dreams, pressures, and feelings that they could never express freely. One fan wrote on Twitter, "I love BTS because of their music, but I fell in love with them for their humanity." And Jikook are two hearts that hurt but still stick together. After the two viral videos shook the virtual world, a new feeling emerged that enveloped the fans. Not just curiosity, but amazement and relief. ARMY begins to realize that what they are witnessing is not just the interaction of two idols, but the recording of a human relationship that has been buried in silence. A number of discussion forums were filled with long posts from fans trying to interpret moment by moment from the video. Some even made detailed analyses, comparing Jungkook and Jimin's body language in the past with their gestures in the video. The result is astonishing. Everything seems to keep the load that was carried for a long time, but only then can it be released, a fan wrote in a blog. Not just a hug. It is the embrace of people who do not know if they will still meet in the next life, but still want to say, "I never stopped caring." What makes it all the more thrilling is the emergence of a 22-second voicemail snippet, which is strongly suspected to be Jimin's voice. This message appeared just a day after the second video was released and immediately went viral. In the message, there was a low voice of a young man who said in a trembling tone, "No matter what happens, I want you to know that I will never leave you. I just need time to understand myself." ARMY, who heard the recording, said the voice was very similar to Jimin. Although there is no official confirmation, many believe that the message was recorded for someone who means a lot in his life, and almost everyone knows who it refers to, Korean media, which is usually quite careful about discussing the personal relationships of BTS members. This time it looks like they can't just ignore it. Several articles from major outlets began to raise this topic, even citing comments from nonverbal communication experts who stated, "There was an incredible emotional load in the embrace. Not only affection, but also an apology and the need to be accepted back." Meanwhile, the South Korean public itself is divided. Some are surprised, some are in full support, and some are trying to interpret the relationship in a broader context, as a symbol of the courage of two men in voicing their hearts in a world that is not always friendly to emotional honesty. Days after the video went viral, exclusive reports emerged that Jungkook and Jimin's parents had been seeing each other secretly. A neighbor of one of the family-owned restaurants mentioned that the two families were seen together at one table, talking for a long time and looking full of emotion. A close acquaintance of Jimin's family interviewed by a weekly magazine said, "Their families are not surprised. They knew it before all of us. All they want is one, so that their children do not continue to hurt themselves just because they are afraid that the world will not accept them." After the video went viral, there was no statement from HYB. No clarification, no defense, and no removal of content. This makes many people think that it is possible, for the first time the agency allowed something so personal to stay alive without intervention. Because in the end, it's not about scandal or hype. It's about two people who keep each other in silence, miss each other within limits, and finally, find each other in a space they never promised, but always hoped for. The video doesn't need sound, because their love is already loud enough even in the mute.